Welcome everyone to a session where 4 continents, countless dreams, and the future of football investment all meet on one stage. Get ready for insights that might just change how you look on the future of the beautiful game. Today, as we almost conclude WFS Madrid, I will personally be collecting a lot of frequent traveler miles as we move from Argentina to Mexico to Japan and Nigeria. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. And in the spirit of making this a bit more interesting, I'll start with my last question first so that you have a little bit of time to reflect on it, ponder on this topic. And the question goes, what is the boldest investment, whether in talent, ideas, technology, or culture, that you believe will shape the future of global football? Okay, so think about it. I'll ask it again at the end. Without further ado, let's begin. And let's start with Quentin. Quentin, you're one of the FBA partners, so I'm giving you that privilege. Congratulations, by the way, again on the award that you won last night for the most impactful branding initiative. So I think it would be remiss to not ask something about that and give you the opportunity to take us back to a watershed moment when América and your brand truly resonated with a new generation. What did connecting to emerging fans feel like on a personal and organizational level?
Yeah, first of all, thanks, Kristian. Very happy to be here, very honored to be invited to represent also the club here on stage, to represent the team. Pedro and Batista are here joining, but in general, everyone behind this big and very relevant brand. As a marketing director, this is very honored to be with such prestigious panelists.
Thank you.
Also very pleased and proud to see that here in Europe, here in Madrid at World Football Summit, we have a panel with people from different regions of the world and not Europe. I think that's pretty different and very happy about it. On the branding scene and being close to the young generation, I'll say, on the contrary to what is generally accepted sometimes in the industry, I think there is a study from Bundesliga from 2019, but it is smiling because I mention it all the time, that actually shows that the young generations consume more content and have more interest in football than the previous one. It's just they consume it differently. So I think what we managed to do this last summer, we changed our kid sponsor partner from an American brand after 25 years to Adidas. It was, of course, a challenge. The design of the jersey was a revamp of a 90s jersey, so appealing to nostalgia from our fans. So to touch the young generations was definitely a challenge. We did a spot that mixed all cultural relevant elements from both Mexico and the US, the young generation, women's football, but also the history of the club with 3 legends participating in the shooting, for example. And it had a very good acceptance. We did a reach of 36 million people, knowing that we have 36 million followers on social, more than 100 million of video views for just one spot. It was pretty insane. And on sales of the jersey, which is in the end also the important part, it went very well, especially in kids and young adults. So honestly, when you manage a brand that we have the privilege to deal with every day, like Club América, so already 109 years since last Sunday, and everything, when you see the young generation really connecting with the brand and embracing the brand and wearing proudly the jersey, I think it's just happiness. Like, you're just happy to see that the fans of the future are already committed to the brand.
Seiya, the J League is, of course, one of the strongest leagues in Asia, but you have your own fair share of challenges, of course. As a European representative of J League here, having lived for several years, I'm sure that, with the time zone hurdles, it hasn't always been easy. Maybe also budget constraints. So what's the story of how J League and their clubs pivoted from relying on broadcasting to having a more creative approach to sponsorship and player trading, specifically with Europe?
Sure. Again, this is Seiya. First of all, thank you so much to World Football Summit for this opportunity. It's a great honor to be here sharing a panel with great, fantastic colleagues. And then, so thank you so much to start with. And yeah, to answer your question, so the truth is we have never really depended on the broadcasting right in the past, because obviously we are getting paid very little, to be honest, because it's realistically speaking, not a lot of people want to watch J-League outside Japan, because obviously, as you said, there's a time difference. Also, obviously, there are really great leagues here to watch, and then you get a very limited time to watch TV, right? I mean, if you watch too much TV, I think your wives or husbands would kill you, right? So realistically speaking, we can't really rely on the broadcasting, right? But instead, as you brought it up, we very much want to focus on players trading as a new source of revenue, because we see the potential there, and because we have a great talent, young talent. So we want to obviously work on that towards the future. But the one problem we have been facing in the past is that obviously nowadays more than 100 Japanese players already play in Europe, which is great. As a J-League, we don't have no intention to retain our talents in Japan. We are happy for them to play in Europe. But the thing is, when they leave our countries for European clubs, they leave almost for free, I mean, I think they sometimes leave for a transfer fee of, 200, 350, 500K, or sometimes 1 million. But I think average number of a transfer fee per player is like 150K or something. So it's quite low. And then after those players playing 1 or 2 years in one team, and then if they do well, they go to bigger teams with a transfer fee of like 10 or 20 or even more millions. So obviously, if our clubs can get paid a little bit more, for the first transfer, I think we can use that proceed to reinvest in the future, our academies, infrastructures, or new coaches, new players. And then we see an opportunity. We have the growth. We see the growth there, that area. So going forward, we really that's one of our main objectives, to, treat it as a new source of income. Yeah. That's where we stand right now. Yeah.
Moving to Nigeria, Gbenga.
Yep.
In a country like Nigeria, which is known for, let's say, lack of a better word, its raw talent, its raw material, arguably investing in youth development is even more important, right? And under your chairmanship of the league, I'm sure you've recognized that. And so my question to you is, because you started organizing some regional youth competitions, I believe, 3 years ago. So what was the process? What's the backstory to how you brought that idea to life? And what are potentially the initial results or outcomes of this initiative?
Well, thank you very much. Again, it's a privilege to be here, and I appreciate the WFS organizers for giving the opportunity to come and talk about Nigeria to the world here. Yeah, when we came in some 3 seasons ago, we discovered that the younger generation of footballers in Nigeria are not playing league football. They're not playing Premier League football. You see old generation, 25 and above, playing. And we discovered that the coaches and the club officials don't have confidence in them. And we believe that we have growing talents in the country, younger generation. We see them playing on primary school, secondary school pitches, street training grounds, and we can see the talent. So we have 20 clubs in the Premier League. Then I insisted that all of them must have football academy. They must have what are called feeder teams. And 3 seasons ago, we insist they will be having a youth league alongside the Premier League. And in order to reduce because Nigeria is a large country, to reduce the risk of traveling for longer distance, so we have to restrict to the regions where those clubs are domiciled. So we have 6 regions. In those regions, we play competitions among the clubs of Premier League for those along that area. Then each region will produce 1 champion. So that means at the end of this day, we have 6 champions who will now converge in a central location somewhere in Nigeria to play what we call the Super 6. This season now, we'll finish the preliminary stages. 6 champions have emerged. Those 6 champions will now play end of November at a central location to determine the winner of the league. And what is the advantage of doing it? Last season alone, the clubs now discovered that some of them are even better than the senior players they are using. For instance, in Rivers United, the guy who was the highest goal scorer last season never played league football before. So the club did not introduce him to Premier League games. In his first 3 matches, he scored 4 goals. Now he's a consistent player. Other clubs, Petit United, all of them, most of the youth players are now the one they are using now. And again, it's a form of revenue generation for the club because now clubs are looking for those players because they are on television, they are on OTT platform. They see these are growing talents, so everybody wants to buy them. People want to just, engage their services. So the clubs are getting. Then the boys are again getting exposed. And the last Nigeria under 20 in Chile, some of them are the Nigerian national team that play for Nigeria. Then under 17 that currently finished the FBA where Nigeria came third. Most of these players are from this junior cadre of league players. It's an advantage. Now what we are seeing, most players in the Nigerian Premier League are now below, you now see 40% of them below the age of 19 playing matches now.
Matías, River Plate's academy has produced some of the biggest legends as well as new stars alike. Can you share a journey, a story about how a specific player went from the academy to global stardom and how that embodies the spirit of the club? And maybe any lessons that you've drawn from these experiences that have shaped your vision for future investment into talent?
Yes, thanks a lot, Kristian. For us, for River Plate, people being in Madrid is very special. We reached the heaven here in 2018, winning the most important match in the history, so the final of Copa Libertadores. So being Madrid for us is a party always. As you know, River Plate, and if I talking about Madrid, from the beginning has a strong history with the young academies. For example, Alfredo Di Stefano was one of our heroes, and you know what Alfredo Di Stefano means for this city and for Real Madrid. Then Omar Sibori was the same in Juventus, and now for the young people that we have the honor to be and to have Mastantuono in Real Madrid at the same time that Julian Alvarez is playing in Atlético Madrid, Echeverry in Manchester City, Enzo Fernandez in Chelsea. So all of us, all of them are part of our incredible story about youth. We believe that we must invest all the time in our academies. Is the key. Finally, is the best invest that you can do it, because that invest bring you success, bring you reputation, bring you the possibility as us. For example, we rebuilt our stadium in the last 2 years. We have the pride to have now the biggest South America stadium, River Plate Stadium. So now we have 86,000 people in each month, in each match. So for us, the virtuous circle starts in the academies. We just sold Mastantuono in almost 50 million euros 2 months ago. So at the final of the row, our academies and our job in the academies are the key for our development, for our success, for focusing fan-centric, for focusing infrastructure, and for bring ours. We have 17 million fans in Argentina. So we have a big responsibility to continue working, but again, the focus is in the academies by far.
Naturally, in football clubs, it doesn't always go easy or as planned, and obviously the club also has had its struggles, and you recently gave a presentation called River Plate from Hell to Heaven, and which captured really the remarkable rise of River Plate after relegation. So can you maybe share a defining scene or a turning point from this recovery that reveals not only the challenges and the teamwork behind the renewal, but also what it means for football investment as a transformational force?
Yes, I was telling a happy story, but unfortunately in 2011, a giant as River Plate was relegated to second division. It was a disaster. Imagine a country like Argentina with the best team going to the second division. It was a disaster. As you know too, the clubs in Argentina are civil associations, do not belong to company. So we took the club by elections 12 years ago, and the first things that we detect is that the club not only lost the category, the club was losing the essence, was losing the family union, was losing the sense of belonging. So the first thing that we do is to join the family all together. All of us came from the business. For example, I am working in a big company who run airports. The president came from the insurance company. The current presidents came from the banking. So all of us were people from the corporate business, but we put our time, 12 years in this case, to rebuild River Plate. So the 3 points that I mentioned was the key to start. And for example, here in Spain, there is a university who is writing the River Plate case, and the name is River Plate from Hell to Heaven. So that explains what happened with the club in the last 12 years.
And people are able to read it?
Absolutely, we are very close.
All right, great. Gbenga, coming back to you, I've noticed over the past 2 days that there's been a lot of talks and sessions here at the event around the increased importance of good governance and transparency, and I think it's probably a topic related to the last one. Yeah. And of course, they are very important in and of themselves, but what is your perspective on how they are connected to attracting the investors' confidence that is necessary, and what have you put in place at the league to that effect?
Well, thank you. You know, when we came in, we inherited a league that was on television. We inherited a league where every match the home team must just win. Then again, we lost fans going to the stadium to watch matches because you know before the match, you know the team that will win. So what's the point going to the stadium to go and watch match? So then we sat down in our board and find out what are the root causes of all this. First, we discovered that referees were afraid to judge officially and give the best of themselves because the home fans, they are always very violent. They will beat off match officials. Therefore, when the referee goes to the stadium, his intention is to make the home team win, to escape being attacked. Then we look at it. Okay, what is the penalty for all this? Clubs were asked, the former league imposed financial fines. And we discovered that there's no way, if you keep imposing financial fines, any club will play, they will pay the money. The next home match again, they will beat off referees to be able to secure 3 points. So we just discovered, okay, let's move out of financial fines. Let's impose point deduction. Any team that perpetrates crime, match, violence, pitch invasion, will deduct 3 points after the match. So now teams are afraid to lose 3 points because they know that may send them to relegation and may prevent them from winning the league. Now the supporters of each team are now like the security officials to protect the officials, the referees and the match officials. What do we have now? Before in Nigeria, all home matches, the victory goes to the home team. But now, you win if you play well. Anybody, anywhere you go, teams are winning away every week now because they have seen transparency. And what does investors want? They want financial transparency. They want good governance. Now the league is now attracting interest from corporate bodies and former Nigerian football stars like Kanu Nwankwo, who played for clubs like Ajax, Amsterdam, like Arsenal, and Inter Milan, is now back in Nigeria as chairman of a Premier League club, Eyimba. We have Emmanuel Amunike, who played for Barcelona before, is now a coach of Atlant of Owerri. We have Finidi George, who played in Spain here for Real Betis and Mallorca, is now the coach of Rivers United in Nigeria, a club in the Premier League. We have Daniel Amukashi, who is now a member of the board of the Nigerian Premier Football League now. And we have our former Super Eagles captain, Ahmed Musa, who is now a player and again team manager of Kano Pillars in Kano. So the environment is becoming electrifying because investors and corporate bodies are now seeing that the current league managers, operators are sincere. And what we do is every deal that has to do with corporate sponsors, we make it public. We publish financial returns. We have external auditors. So what does Nigerians want? They want a system that is transparent. And the transparency attracts investors. Because you know that your investment is safe, because you want visibility for your investment, but a league that doesn't have the crowd in the stadium will not give you the necessary many opportunities to showcase your investment. Before, we were talking of clubs not having stadium, not having crowd to come and watch matches. Now our problem is how to control the crowd. Because every match day now, most stadiums are filled up beyond the normal seats available. People want to still come in, even despite paying. So we discovered that, look, Nigerians love football. That we have to permanently force some clubs to leave their environment and go to another place. Because we insist on standards. If we don't have a stadium that's television friendly, we ask you to go to another stadium that is good enough. So these are bringing in more interest in our league. We're bringing in more players who played in Europe before. Some of them are coming back to Nigeria because the salary was small. Then we insist that the clubs must jack up the pay allowance of players. So that is giving us more interest. And I can tell you today, the decision can always be more better because every day we keep improving. Last season, we played 380 matches. We have 20 clubs in the Premier League, 380 matches without violence. Teams will lose away, there won't be violence. Team will lose at home, there won't be violence. Everybody is being cautious. So that is the situation now.
And so in that context, just to follow up, you obviously mentioned the importance of the whole league structure and the different initiatives. That, I guess, is under an umbrella of a club licensing system. So what have you done in that regard as well to make sure that the clubs fulfill those requirements that you need to make the product on the pitch also better? You also mentioned referees, so maybe if you want to give a little insight on what you did on that side as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. We discovered that we have rules, but rules without enforcement is no rules at all. If we have laws and we are not enforcing those laws, there won't be obedience. So anybody can flout the law because they know there's no punishment. Now, we look at officiating first. If referees made mistake, we know it's mistake. But some mistakes are beyond pardon. You see that there are glaring mistakes, that deliberate attempt to change the result of the match by officials. What we do is to write to the federation that we are dismissing this referee. We don't want him anymore in our system. We have done that. Only recently we dismissed 5 of them. So referees are now aware that bad officiating is not allowed in the system. Again, players' conduct on the field, because we are not monitoring their conduct off the field, but on the field of play. Whatever they do that we think will bring the league to disrepute, we punish the players. We put them on suspension, even coaches. Some before, because after matches, coaches don't come for post-match interview. If they lose, they run away. But now we impose financial sanction on the coach and the club. If you refuse to attend post-match interview, they will sanction you. So the order is that without rules, without those rules and enforcement, things are moving seamlessly. Everybody wants to comply, and compliance is very important to get results in whatever system you are running.
Shifting gears a little bit, back to you, Quentin, and we would be remiss to not talk a little bit about the women's game as well, and I know that the club has made a lot of investments in that space as well, and also I'm very happy to know that there's one of our FBA candidates doing her internship in that specific department now, so I hope she's doing well and helping you in that regard. Like, walk us through how that philosophy almost, or like that vision of investing in women's football becoming a club policy, more than just kind of like a tick box exercise, and rather a transformative chapter for the club, and which anecdotes best capture that the spirit of that commitment.
Yeah, I'll try to be quick. I'm going to show you very quickly how this, talking about next generation and investment, I think women's football is pretty obvious. Batis, Pedro, si me ayudan, pueden voltear rápido a ver la gente. Who here is a woman football fan? Ahí está. Hay 4 paquetes. Batis, ¿me ayudas, por favor?
Wow.
So as you see, it's not only a next generation thing, it's a thing. Women football is here to stay, and we need to invest in it. I don't know any business that are a reality without investing in it. I think you need to, so even if it's just to give gifts in summits, but it takes a little bit more than that. And even to my cynical friends in the industry that don't see the value of it in terms of equality, it is a business. There is a study from a very important soda brand that I'm not going to mention, but that Forbes mentioned recently in the last weeks or months, that by 2030, in terms of fandom and business dimension, women's football is going to be the 5th sport worldwide. That's being men's football, basketball, American football, baseball, and women's football, the 5th one. So it's a reality, it's here. We need to invest to make it grow. Of course, the league in Mexico, the professional league, started 8 years ago. América was one of the club that bet the most on that part and invested really. It has transformed the club fully. Gracias. It's a different reality. I can give 3 anecdotes. One that happened when we just started. So there was an internal conversation between the leadership team and the board of if we needed to use different jersey, different designs on the jersey, even a different crest than that one. From leadership, there was some push of doing something different. I had my opinion. We can discuss after this. But we decided to ask to the players. And all our players decided that they wanted to play with our colors, with orange jersey, the same jersey as the men's team. We're a team part of the same club. Then maybe a third kid different. Maybe there will be a surprise in the years to come. But you know, like we wanted to play with the same colors. That's one, and where we see the really transformation that we had at the club. The second one is that has been along the way in the last 8 years. It's almost there, the construction of in meetings, and don't let me lie, but like, yeah, the first team will do that, and then the women's team, no, wait, we have 2 first teams. We have a men's first team and a women's first team. So just the fact of calling them a first team and giving them the importance and the means and the resources of a first team is something that took some time. I think we're almost there. We're getting closer and closer, so that was very important. And the third one just happened a few weeks ago. I'm sorry, I'm in Madrid, but we received Barcelona women's team for a second friendly in the last 2 years against them, 3 years, in front of 25,000 people, and we lost 2-1. But when the Barca players, which is probably one of the top teams in the world in terms of women football, they visited the specific gym that we built for the women's team. So we have 2 first teams, again, we have a gym for the men's team, a gym for the women's team. And the comment from the leadership Barca team was, yeah, they're probably going to ask us to build one very soon. So that's the kind of things we're proud of and showing that we do need to invest. And even if you don't believe in women's football, you don't like it, it's the future. So don't get too late on it.
Yeah. And yeah.
That's.
And so whether on the women's side or the men's side, I think a lot of times people fall in the trap of looking at Europe for inspiration because, you know, for so many decades we've been the hotspot of football. But that doesn't mean that there's not inspiration to be found elsewhere, right? So has there been any anecdote, any event, any partnership that you have observed over the years? I know you travel a lot, that has helped you to maybe shape your vision across any of those verticals?
Yeah, I think the big difference with big European clubs is where the US is one market among so many, like South America could be one, like Asia could be one, like Africa could be one. Like in our case, it's not a secondary market, it's a second primary market, so to speak. A third of our fans, so 15 million fans, we have 15 million fans live in the US. Most of them now were born in the US. The team is more than just a team, it's part of their roots or of their identity. For 94% of Liga MX fans in the US, the league is like the Latino league, the equivalent. By 2050, talking about next generations, 42% of the US population will be Hispanic. Of those, 26% of the Hispanic today are under 18. 25% of the Gen Z generation in the US is Hispanic. So if we talk about next generation, you don't think about the Hispanic population, you don't think about the US in terms of football, soccer for them, but football for us. And after the World Cup next year, the fandom will just explode literally. So I think, as a French guy, sorry, nobody's perfect. When I arrived to the club and we played 3 years ago, sorry, at the SoFi Stadium with the Super Bowl when there of American football, 71,000 people. We did a double header with Galaxy against Chivas and us against LAFC, and we put 73,000 people. So we put more than the Super Bowl on it, and it was a friendly. So seeing the importance that we have, what we move for these people as well. So we did, and thanks to Pedro here, we did the Clásico de México, so the game against Chivas, or rivals, but also good friends. In the Rose Bowl in LA, 86,000 people, record of a football game in the US since 2017. And this year in Phoenix, which is not the biggest natural Hispanic market, we put 45,000 people. That was last Saturday, so congrats, Pedro. So I think seeing this importance and what we can build with our brand América in America, it's something that we need to be a part of. And there is other markets in terms of football than just Europe. And again, I think this panel is a very good proof of it.
So yeah, you obviously came to Europe to represent the J-League here. I think that's probably been a turning point for the league in terms of its development. Has there been like any specific moment, a partnership, something that happened that changed the course of a specific club of the J-League, which gave maybe a fresh meaning to this cross-border collaboration?
Okay, so in terms of partnerships, to be honest, before even we started this project, there had always been many partnerships in place between Japanese clubs and European clubs. But to be honest, majority of them weren't not really working well. So that's why we wanted to kind of step in. But there are a few examples that I really like and then to promote. And it's the partnership. Good example is partnership between, let's say, Gamba Osaka and Ajax Amsterdam. And then they have a partnership where I think they both benefit from the relationship. For example, Gamba Osaka is providing scouting data for entire Japanese market. And then because Japanese market is hard to follow because some of the young talents, still a lot of young talents play in high school or university teams. So it's very hard to follow. And also Gamba Osaka is sending a couple of best talent to Ajax so that, to train with the Ajax players for a couple of weeks in the summer, for example. And then if they like them, they have a preferential right to sign. So that's, and then on the other hand, Ajax is providing Gamba Osaka as a methodology of youth development or, coaching or also a club management. So I think they benefiting from this kind of relationship, which I'd like to, promote for other clubs too. Also, not exactly like partnership, but also for example, next year what we are working right now is bringing our clubs to, to Austria to start with for the preseason camp next year, so that where they can get to play friendly matches with, great European clubs. So where it's going to be a great experience for Japanese clubs, because if they are in Japan to do the preseason camp in Japan, they never get that experience. But also it's going to be a good showcase because many scouts are going to be there to witness our players. So that could eventually result in the value of increase in value by players. Yeah, it's not really a partnership, but we try to get ourselves more exposed to European or world football, so that to get increase awareness of towards our football. So yeah.
Matías, River Plate obviously puts fans and the venue at the heart of the whole experience and the vision. Could you describe a moment when this focus led to a new kind of connection, and what story best illustrates this impact on supporter loyalty and business growth?
Yes, as we said, we rebuilt the stadium. Now our stadium has 86,000 seats. And since the last 3 years are full every match that River Plate plays. In football, the clubs used to expand their operations using verticals as memberships and e-commerce contains ticketing. We built a digital platform in which we integrate all our ecosystems. So if we have 70 million fans in Argentina, in this platform, every fan who interacts with the platform is registered. Now we have 2 million fans registered in that platform. It's called River ID. That allowed to us to sell the stadium every match. We have half of the stadium sold by year, permanent year, and we have the other half of the stadium available for every match. That platform, that integration allowed to us to be full every match. So for us was a big platform to know what our fans want, to understand our fans, and to let us to bring them access, special offers, and basically to go to the stadium.
Great. Gentlemen, this brings us back to my first questions of the panel. So I hope you had some time to think about what the boldest investment that you and your organizations can make, and how your chosen investment could define the next generation and legacy of the game. So we have 30 seconds each. Gbenga, you go first.
I'll choose technology.
Sorry?
Yeah, I'll choose technology. Technology, because in my own environment, we have talents in Nigeria, talent without being polished, that they cannot get to the level you want them to be. Television is technology, OTT is technology, then VAR is technology. You play football, the world is not knowing about it. Then you are not actually playing football. Football is about television. Again, there are opportunities for you to view what happened on the field and do a review about the technical department of the clubs to know how to improve player per player. And now the next match, the kind of mistakes they make the last match, how to make corrections. Without technology, you don't get those things. So talents apart, technology is key. I choose technology.
Okay. Seiya, what do you go for?
I don't know, 30 seconds, difficult, but I don't know. I think it's investment in anything, everything is important, but just for me, I was just thinking about this, but I think football should be accessible by anybody, right? I mean, nowadays, if you look at the history of World Cup, only 8 countries have won the World Cup, but I think for me, it would be more interesting, more exciting if every country has a same chance to win World Cup, you know? So, but football is easy. If you have a ball, you can play. But at the same time, nowadays, development is something to do with also now technology, data, also good nutrition, or like good kid shoes or nice pitch. So I think if you can invest in a little bit more into, you know, so region or country of underprivileged country, I think football was more competitive and more exciting. So obviously, every sector needs some kind of investment, but also in terms of geography, if you can invest a little bit more into, obviously, the question is how, but into underprivileged region country, then I think it makes football more even competitive and fun. That's what I thought, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Quentin?
So I'll let the second biggest club in America finish. No, I think what we all mention a lot of things about next generation investment on and off the field in very different topics in 4 different regions. I think what I'll take and is the most important is culture. We need to invest in culture. We need clubs and teams and leagues and federations to be, and a little bit linked to what Seiya was mentioning, focused on on a culture that is adaptable, fan-centric, based on emotions, because that's our business and our industry, and technology then is a tool, and we obviously need to invest into it, but I think if you have the right culture, you can have the right results. I'll give an example which is outside of football and sports. I don't know if you have heard of Tony's, a German company of toys for kids. When at a time during the pandemic where all the kids were using screens and parents were just getting crazy to have some peace, they invented, it's a box, you put a toy on it and it tells you a story, and it's creative, it's based on emotions, and I think, no, it's a startup, it's one of the only German unicorn, it's worth billions, and without focusing on technology, which is what all startups are doing, so I think that's where we need to go, get back to emotions.
And last but not least, River Plate.
We know the importance, technology, infrastructure, fan-centric, but as I told you at the beginning, our challenge is to be continue investment in Youth Academy. It's our legacy.
Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, we've taken a trip around the world. Back to your seats, fasten your seatbelt. Just keep your passports close to you because soon I hope to see all of you in WFS Riyadh. Thank you so much.
Thank you.